With pixel art, one misplaced pixel can change the perception of an entire sprite. One pixel can cause your straight line to look awkward and curved. Let's take a look at how to draw straight lines, first with Piskel's stroke tool, and then pixel by pixel with the pen tool. You can select the stroke tool here, or just press the L shortcut. Then, just click and drag, and Piskel will automatically place pixels where they need to be to make a line at that angle. Don't release the mouse button yet, and drag the cursor around. You can see how Piskel decides to divide the line up as you do. Straight up, and the line is straight, obviously, but move over one pixel, and two straight lines are drawn, splitting the longer line into two segments. If I draw another line and move over 2 pixels, the line is split into 3 segments, with a slightly longer segment in the center. Using the line tool is great, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's important to understand how to create these lines yourself. The line tool can actually be useful for learning that, as you can draw out a line at whatever angle you'd like and start counting the pixels and figure out the pattern. For example, if I draw a line like this, you can look at the pixels and see the line is made up of mostly 4 pixel lines followed by 3 pixel lines, with a few exceptions here and there. Analyzing these lines is a great way to understand how you can reach these angles, but it's important to remember that it's not the only way to draw these lines. This is just the way that Piskel decides to draw these lines. Let's erase them, and then we'll draw some lines manually. Press P to switch to the pen tool. Drawing lines in pixel art is all about following a ratio. For example, if we draw a line straight up, we'd be drawing a line with a ratio of 0 to 1. Every time we draw a pixel, we move 0 pixels to the right, and we move 1 pixel up, and place a pixel there. This gives us a straight up and down line. We can take that same idea and flip it, and use a ratio of 1 to 0. For every pixel we place, we move to the right 1 pixel, and we move up 0 pixels. This gives us a straight line left and right. But what we want to do is draw angles between these two lines. We can do that with a couple other pixel ratios. First, we can draw a diagonal line directly between our first 2 lines with the ratio 1 to 1. Every pixel we place, move to the right 1 pixel and up 1 pixel. This gives us a nice 45-degree angle. We can get even sharper angles by adding to the ratio. If we use a ratio of 2 to 1, we place 2 pixels to the right and move up by 1 pixel. Place 2, move up 1, and keep going. We can reverse this ratio and use 1 to 2 to go in the opposite direction. Place 2 pixels going up, and move to the right 1 pixel. Place another 2 pixels. We can keep going with this to get a bit closer to the other line. A ratio of 3 to 1, placing 3 pixels in a row going right, moving up 1 pixel, and placing another 3 will give us an even tighter angle. This can be reversed as well with a ratio of 1 to 3. Each of these ratios can be used in any direction, which enables you to draw any of these lines. Make sure to learn how to draw each of these lines by following the ratios, and then analyze how the line tool places its pixels. By combining the two principles, you can learn how to draw a straight line towards any angle you need. Thanks for watching. If you found this content helpful, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Comment, like, and share this video, and subscribe for more tutorials. See you next time. Now that we've learned how to draw straight lines, the next thing we need to learn is how to draw curves. I'll show you an easy way to draw a curved line between any 2 points. Last time, we learned about drawing lines following a ratio. When drawing curves, we still follow these ratios, except we alter them over time. Let's take a look. Remember, a 0:1 ratio will give us a straight up and down line. A 1:2 ratio will give us a line like this. And a 1:3 ratio will give us a line like this. We can go even further with a 1:4 ratio. And finally, I'll put a 1:1 ratio over here. What we want to do is use segments of these lines to gradually curve where we want to go. If you look at the lines, the 1:4 line is closest in angle to the 0:1 line. Let me erase these real quick. Now, I'll start with a 4-pixel line here. Move to the right and up 1 pixel, and put 3 pixels going up. Move up and to the right by 1 pixel, and place 2 pixels. Up and to the right, and place 1 pixel. This is half of our curve. Notice how the line curves as the length of each segment decreases. 4, 3, 2, 1. At this point, we change directions and start using the inverse ratio, 2:1, placing 2 pixels to the right, then up and to the right and place 3 pixels. Up and to the right, place 4 pixels. This is probably one of the easiest curves you could draw since it's so even, but you can see the concept. We start with a straight line of 4 pixels. The next line we draw is a little shorter, 3 pixels. The next line, 2 pixels, then 1 pixel. The important thing to remember is consistency. If I draw another curve and randomly choose the length of each segment, the curve looks bad. This isn't a smooth curve, it's more jagged. Make sure to progress evenly. Don't jump from placing 3 pixels to 1 pixel, then 5 pixels, and then 2. Keep a consistent pattern, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can draw curves with more segments, just make sure you place them in a consistent pattern. I'll make the canvas bigger. I'll set it to 64 by 64. And I'll switch to another color for the next part of the curve. I'll continue this line by another 4 pixels. But for the next segment, let's place another 4 pixels, then another 4 pixels. Now, we'll move to 3 pixel segments, and I'll place 2 of them. Then we'll move on to 2 pixel segments, and we'll place 2 of those. If we keep going, the segment will be 1 pixel long. I'll place 3 1-pixel segments, and then we can mirror what we've done so far. 2 segments of 2 pixels, 2 segments with 3 pixels, and 3 segments with 4 pixels. Notice we didn't place an equal amount of each segment, but we did follow a consistent pattern. We never increased or decreased a segment by more than 1 pixel. Now you could do this on a larger scale, and make sure each line increases or decreases by 2 pixels or 3 pixels. As long as you are consistent, the curve will look correct. One thing to be aware of is the problem of placing a single pixel. A single pixel placed on a curve often looks like a sharp point, not like part of a curve. Let me show you what I mean. If I draw a curve with 4 pixels, 4 pixels, 3 pixels, 3 pixels, 2 pixels, then 1 pixel, and mirror the curve, you can kind of see what I'm talking about, even on the canvas. But take a look at the actual size over here. That 1 pixel looks like a sharp point, not a curve. Look at the difference between the 1 pixel peak and the 2 pixel peak here. Even 2 pixels looks a little sharp, but it looks much more like a curve than the 1 pixel peak. You'll notice that I used a single pixel here, but it doesn't look like an edge. It still looks curved. That's because this pixel is inside of the curve. By that, I mean that the ratio reverses after this pixel. We go from 1 to 2, to 1 to 1, and finally to 2 to 1. The ratio reverses. On the other hand, over here, we go from a 2 to 1 ratio to a 1 to 1 ratio and back to a 2 to 1 ratio. That causes the pixel to be on the outside of the curve. If I erase the second half of the curve and redraw using the opposite ratio, that single pixel looks fine. There's no magic formula that will get you a perfect curve from any 2 points, but by using these techniques, consistently following a pattern, and avoiding placing single pixels, you can create perfect curves between any 2 points. Just keep practicing with them, and soon you'll be drawing curves like second nature.